Coming up on UCF Nightly News. The murder of U.S. journalist and former UCF student Steven Sotloff by ISIL is a tragedy that shook the nation and the UCF community.
Former presidential candidate Herman Cain spoke at UCF this week. Find out his reaction to recent ISIL video. And scandalous photographs are taking the internet by storm. Find out if your private information could be compromised too.
You're watching Nightly News, covering the university community and the greater Central Florida area.
Nightly News starts now.
Good afternoon and welcome to Nightly News. I'm Al Hernandez.
And I'm Brittany Jackson. Today is Friday, September 5th. The terrorist group ISIL released a second video Tuesday showing U.S. journalist and former UCF student Steven Sotloff being executed. Reporter Katie Callahan tells us more about this tragedy.
Yes, Brittany. I'm here in front of a memorial placed in front of the Nicholson School of Communications, where both current and former UCF students are paying their respects in light of this horrible events surrounding Sotloff's death. What you are about to see may be considered disturbing. In the video titled "A Second Message to America," Sotloff is seen calmly reading a similar message to the one James Foley read just 2 weeks ago. Just before he is beheaded, an Islamic terrorist is standing next to Sotloff, explaining that Sotloff is being murdered because of American foreign policy and bombings on the Mosul Dam. And just like the first video, another hostage is being threatened. But this time, it's British citizen David Cawthorne Haynes. On Wednesday, President Obama said the prayers of the American people are with the family of the devoted and courageous journalist.
Whatever these murderers think they'll achieve by killing innocent Americans like Steven, they have already failed. They failed because, like people around the world, Americans are repulsed by their barbarism. We will not be intimidated. Their horrific acts only unite us.
And it's these horrific acts that Sotloff wanted to expose. UCF journalism professor Kimberly Voss says reporters are important because otherwise people would only get the propaganda spread by terrorists.
I think it shows the importance of journalism, the importance of people who seek to tell the truth, who put themselves in harm's way on behalf of all of us. Many of us that want to be journalists would never dream of taking the risks that Steven took.
His life will not be forgotten here on campus. The sign reads, "Bravo Steven Sotloff, for he sought truth unto death." But that's not the only way the UCF community honored Sotloff. More than 300 people from the UCF community gathered around the reflection pond on Wednesday to remember fallen knight Steven Sotloff. The tone of the vigil was somber. Rabbi Lipskier led the group in a moment of silence and prayer.
Light our own candles in our hearts, the candles of our person, and together we can usher in an era of world peace.
After that, everyone in the crowd lit candles. Syrian student Laura Abdullah said that she appreciates Sotloff's sacrifice in telling the real truth.
And everything that's going on over there is affecting each and every one of us in ways that we can't even describe, because it's hard not knowing what is actually going on. And the fact that our own government is the one who's been torturing us and making us go through a lot.
But students aren't the only ones who are inspired by Sotloff. His rugby teammate, Chris Nolt, says the team is going to do everything they can to honor Sotloff's legacy.
And was just an all-around good individual, was very passionate about journalism, very young in college. That was his passion. Anybody would tell you that. And he chased his dream, and unfortunately, it's terrible what happened.
Earlier this week, UCF President John Hitt said the UCF community mourns Steven's death and joins people around the world in outrage. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Katie. A former presidential candidate also spoke out about the Sotloff tragedy. Political activist Herman Cain visited UCF on Wednesday as part of his Campus Solutions tour. The event took place in the Cape Florida Ballroom and was open to all Central Florida residents. The topics discussed ranged from tax legislation to the pursuit of the American dream. Cain told Nightly News before his speech that his prayers go out to Sotloff's family and what he thinks America should do moving forward.
We need to be more aggressive and go on the offense rather than being on the defense. And that's exactly how this administration has been reacting, and that is they've been reactive instead of proactive.
My answer is, why not?
Nightly News also asked Cain if he had any plans to run for president again. His response? Never say never.
Hundreds of celebrities had their privacy violated when their nude pictures surfaced online this past weekend. But how they got hacked could happen to anyone with a phone or a computer. Nightly News reporter Melissa Lujan tells us how you can better protect your data.
The public source, where we know, with public sources, anything can be hacked and reused even after deleted.
After the biggest celebrity hacking scandal ever, some wonder about the true safety of our information. Director of University Relations of the UCF Collegiate Cyber Defense Club, Austin Brogel, explains how it happened.
They just had a word list of common passwords, and then just they knew the person's email, so they just run through and try all the passwords.
Victims in the recent leak include Jennifer Lawrence and Kate Upton. Their cases are under investigation. Brogel says there is really only one solution.
Ultimately, if you don't want your data accessed by someone else, don't put it on the internet in any form.
UCF student Valeria McCalva is aware of the dangers in her phone.
Keep all my information that I don't want to be, released accidentally somehow on cloud or somewhere in a public system. Keep it as safe as possible away from public sources.
So how do you protect yourself in a world full of technology? Alex Davis gives students simple tips to prevent cyber attacks.
Something that's more complex, has uppercase letters, lowercase letters, even special characters and numbers in it. But oftentimes length is more important.
Davis says the key to safety is in the user and being aware that everything they have on their device could be seen. Reporting in Orlando, Melissa Lujan, UCF Nightly News.
Apple officials released a statement after the hacking saying iCloud is updated to prevent future cyber attacks on their software. I know I'm definitely going to tighten up my passwords now.
I might just trash my computer altogether. Time now for a first look at our weather. Melissa joins us with a look at our first forecast.
Melissa, what's the weather like for the week?
Oh, it's already looking gray outside, and it looks like it will continue. Currently, it's 89 degrees, humidity's at 55%, winds are coming in south-southwest at 4 miles per hour, and there's a 50% chance of rain. Students, keep that umbrella because it looks like there will be scattered thunderstorms throughout the afternoon. I'll have more on your forecast later on in the broadcast.
Thanks, Melissa. Still ahead on Nightly News, a UCF student has been nationally recognized for his accomplishments. Stay tuned to see how he rose to fame.
And a new bill in California may change the definition of sexual consent. Find out how this could affect UCF.
For the first time ever, a UCF student is being nationally recognized for his accomplishments in the sports business field. I caught up with him earlier this week to discuss his journey to success.
I looked at the rest of the list and I was like, wow, I don't know. Like, there's some pretty big people, so it kind of kept me hungry.
22-year-old Aaron Malave is hungry for success. That is how he was named as one of the top 30 sports professionals or students under the age of 30. How does he feed that hunger?
Kinda making sure I'm doing well, but I'm never getting complacent, and that I'm kind of always looking for that next challenge.
The marketing major spent the last 2 years working with the UCF athletic department and won the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Orlando Magic. Sports Launch, a national sports business magazine and website, released the list that recognized Malave. He credits the DeVos Sports Business Management minor for his success so early in life.
Yeah, so the minor, that's one of the biggest things I tell people when I talk about the minor, is just kind of the connections, not only with the industry professionals that we have the opportunity to hear from in terms of speakers and just internship and volunteer opportunities, but your peers as well. So
Malave also mentions Professor Scott Buckstein and Dr. Keith Harrison, who introduced him to industry professionals.
Learning opportunities, Dr. Harrison, we'll do whatever we can. If it's making a phone call, it's sending out a few emails, it's meeting in person with our colleagues, and all it takes usually is a strong recommendation based on the relationships we're fortunate to have to create those opportunities.
Opportunities through the minor led to his current internship in corporate partnerships with the Magic. Malave says his dream is to be vice president of an NBA team. More than 300 undergraduate and nearly 70 graduate students are in the DeVos program. Aaron Malave is graduating this December. He hopes his internship with the Magic can lead to a full-time position in basketball.
The definition of sexual consent is changing on U.S. college campuses. On Thursday, the California Senate passed a bill that more clearly defines the meaning of sexual consent at state universities. Penn State University reported more than 39,000 forcible sex offenses on campuses in 2012. California government officials and student activists felt enough was enough, and after a year of protests, the affirmative consent standard is finally in the works. The bill includes a definition of sexual consent, saying there must be the presence of a yes instead of the absence of a no. After an increase of forcible sex offenses on UCF's campus, gender studies professor Jennifer Sandoval believes this bill could be a precedent for not only California, but nationwide.
But this is a really drastic shift in the way that we're talking about it. And so even if UCF or the state of Florida doesn't adopt this kind of bill, I think it is going to shift the conversation in a direction that a lot of people who are already activists in this area, who do research in this area, have been talking about for a really long time.
The California affirmative bill is now under Governor Jerry Brown's review. Even if he vetoes the bill, California schools can still implement the law on their campuses.
More and more bars are closing in the UCF area. In the past 6 months, at least 5 bars have been shut down, with one even closing this past week. The bar-pocalypse has changed the nightlife in Central Florida for many UCF students. The biggest bars on University and Alafaya closed for many reasons. The number of places students can go drastically dropped from about 11 to nearly 5 since 2011. The Station, Mad Hatter, and Moat are a few of the local bars shut down, and students say this change is very disappointing.
The Victoria's Secret Pink Campus Showdown starts today. 100 schools all across the country will compete for the next 5 days to try and win the top prize, a party thrown by Victoria's Secret. Students must go online to pinknation.com to vote, as well as participate in Photo Blitz challenges on Instagram to earn maximum points. UCF won the competition last year, and students are looking to do it again. Pink Representative Sterling Shortle says this is one party you don't want to miss.
The party is going to be absolutely huge if UCF wins. There's pink models that come. They host the concert. Previous concerts have been Drake, Gym Class Heroes, and last year it was Flo Rida at UCF. So who knows what performer they are going to have this year, but it's sure to be great.
A new building dedicated to international students at UCF is set to break ground on campus this December. UCF officials hope the 3-story building attracts thousands of global UCF students annually. Despite the initial cost projected at $11 million, UCF officials say the construction means more money for the school in the long run.
Their perception about their culture is what is right now. So sharing all this with our normal student population is a fantastic source of knowledge.
Construction is set to be completed December 2015. The new building will go up in parking lot D, which reducing the number of available parking spots on campus.
The UCF Student Union is back in business after a big mess that shocked students last Friday. UCF officials say a temporary drain blockage caused water to bubble up out of the drains. But students told Nightly News they saw something completely different. Take a look at this video. That's not water on the Student Union floors. Workers from Roto-Rooter Plumbing and Drain Service say that's rotten food grease from all the restaurants inside the food court. And students that passed through the building on Friday say they were not prepared for what they smelled.
Poop, it smelled like sewage, like it went down in the drain, like it was really bad.
We had over 10,000 gallons of grease that had to be pumped out, and now the lines are still backed up with the grease, and we're getting ready to hydrojet them to clean them out.
Workers say they cleaned the mess up and for more than 6 hours, and that the surrounding food areas were not affected. The student union's regular hours were also not affected that week.
The weather has been hot. When we come back, Melissa tells us what to expect for the next few days.
And a little later in sports, the Knights suffered an agonizing loss against Penn State in Ireland. We'll give you all the game highlights next. Tomorrow is International Observe the Moon Night, a night where people all over the world gaze at our planet's nearest neighbor. UCF is participating in the global event by setting up telescopes in front of the CFE Arena. The watch party starts at 8 p.m. and is free for UCF students and families. And if you want to join the rest of the world on Twitter, the official hashtag is INOMN2014. I hope there's no clouds out there for the moon watching today.
That'd be terrible to ruin a beautiful night for everyone.
I know.
Now it's the time to take a look at our weather forecast. So, Melissa, what can we look forward to this weekend?
Al, sadly, it does look like it will be cloudy this Saturday to watch that moon, but as you see, it's already forming in some gray clouds outside. Let's look at the current state temperature map. Tallahassee's 86 degrees, as well as Jacksonville and Tampa. You see Orlando and Miami are at 89 as well. Let's look at the precipitation map. This is where it gets tricky. There's a low pressure system moving through the Midwest towards Kansas. You see it's meeting some warm air right there. That's causing a lot of storms. If you see over there in the Michigan and Great Lakes area, there are strong thunderstorms that's causing possible hail and damaging winds. We're also tracking Hurricane Norbert down here. If you see towards the eastern Pacific, has sustained winds of 90 miles per hour, and it looks like it will be going towards California. Let's look at the national temperature map. The yellow you see over there where we are, that's 90 degrees. Around the Central Plains will be 70, Northern Rockies will be 60, and this is where it gets bad. The Southern Rockies will be high of 100 degrees, so stay inside if possible, wear sunblock, and keep hydrated. Let's look at the 5-day forecast. This week we're seeing highs of 90s and low of 74 for every day for the next 5 days. Saturday, 50% chance of rain. Sunday, 50% chance of rain as well. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday we'll be seeing 40% chance of rain. That's the 5-day forecast. Back to the desk with Brittany and Al.
Thanks, Melissa. The weather isn't the only thing that's hot on UCF's campus. University Primetime, a popular college website, named UCF as the second most attractive university in the U.S. UCF is ranked above the rest of the Florida universities, only falling behind #1 ranked Arizona State University. The ratings were released on the Primetime website August 22nd. Florida State came in 5th place with UM and UF trailing on the list in the 20s.
Still ahead on Nightly News, football and soccer. We'll let you know what's going on in the sports world.
Sports is up next.
Welcome back, Knights fans. I'm Paige Turner, and this is what's happening in sports. Despite the rainy night in Central Florida, former UCF quarterback Blake Bortles was inducted into the Oviedo High School Hall of Fame on Friday. Bortles, along with other former players, were honored before the game kicked off. The Lions hosted Lake Brantley in the season opener, and fans were there to cheer them on. Oviedo retired Bortles' number 9 jersey at halftime, and he said he was happy to receive the recognition.
It's unbelievable. It's such a cool honor to be able to come out here and, get inducted with a bunch of great athletes from Oviedo. So it's very cool to be from here and be a part of it.
UCF football fans came out in force on Saturday for the SGA watch party at the CFE Arena. Knights fans were there to cheer on the home team as they took on Penn State in the Croke Park Classic. Many fans, like marching band member Kendall Monty, were excited to cheer the team on, even from thousands of miles away.
It's really exciting. Everybody, it's something new, it's something different that we get to see people play in Ireland, and we get to support them from home. And I mean, there's people here that even though the game's away, we're still here, we're excited, we're very happy to play and very happy to support Knights from home.
The Knights played Penn State in the Croke Park Classic this past weekend. Early on in the first quarter, Penn State quarterback Christian Hackenberg going deep to Deshaun Hamilton. The receiver is able to split a pair of defenders, taking it down to the 1-yard line. The Lions would eventually punch that in for a touchdown and put 7 on the board. Fast forward to the second half, head coach George O'Leary making the decision to replace quarterback Pete DeNovo with sophomore Justin Holman. At about midfield play action, Holman under pressure finds Brashad Perryman all the way down to the 1-yard line. Holman would run it in for a touchdown to get the Knights back in the game. All right, that's all the time we have for today. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. This was UCF Nightly News. I'm Al Hernandez.
And I'm Brittany Jackson. Have a great weekend. See you next week.
Bye.